Hello, this is Targor. This video is a Twitch stream that was not edited, so it's gonna look like a stream on Twitch. Welcome to my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus. The design direction of my vision of Classic Plus is substantially different from that of retail WoW, Circus Shadowlands, and the private servers, Vanilla Plus and Turtle WoW. This is partially because the things to fix Vanilla WoW's many problems first, flesh out and polish it second, and add new content third. This is part of a playlist of videos. Check this video's description for a link to the playlist. The document displays my vision of World of Warcraft Classic Plus, and the document's version number is 1.5.15. All versions of the document are based upon patch 1.12.2 of WoW, the one before the Burning Crusade pre-patch. If you just want to know about the general design direction of my vision of Classic Plus before you otherwise look into this, then watch the introductory video in this playlist. Or read the document yourself and look at the list of major features. The link to the document is in my channel's About page. That, and I do not actually have a team of people, however, working with me to make an actual private server out of this. This is all pure design thus far, and it ain't done yet. Know that most of this game's items are pending re-itemization, though I have laid out all the groundwork for it. Now then, on to the sweeping changes to how items have their stats allocated to them, aka itemization. Oh, by the way, the actual methodology that I'm gonna use to assign stats to items, like how much each stat is gonna cost, fucking like this stuff. This is all gonna be a separate video, the one after this. Anyway, all non-suffix cloth items, not counting cloaks, that have strength or agility on them will have that strength or agility be replaced with something else because the stats are not useless for all clothies. Cloth items, not counting cloaks, may no longer have the of strength of the tiger, of the boar, of the bear. Hold on. Okay. Nor of the bear, of the gorilla, of the agility, of the wolf, of the monkey, or of the falcon as suffixes, because strength and agility are not useless for all clothies. Set bonuses on your set items will be revamped when I get around to it. Some sets will have low stats on the items and have amazing set bonuses, and others will have not so low stats on the items with not so great set bonuses. And the itemization budgets for all sets, unlike in vanilla WoW, will actually account for the set bonuses. So set bonuses will not be free itemization points anymore. This will unfortunately mean that all set items will suck unless you have enough items in the set to get a set bonus from it. Or if you have exactly enough items in the set to get whichever set bonus from it. Like if there's a 3-piece set bonus and a 5-piece set bonus, and you have 4 items, then the 4th item sucks. In that case, you're going to want to take off the one that has the least amount of itemization points on it, so probably like the braces or some shit. Anyway, the following list of items will be changed so that all of the mentioned non-epic items are at level 63, character level 58 if applicable, blue items, including crafted items, and all of the mentioned epic items are item level 63, character level 58 if there's a level requirement, if applicable, epic items, including crafted items. All gear that is exclusively for Darmal East, Darmal North, Darmal West, Strathholm, Skulllands, Blackrock Spire, and Inner Blackrock Depths, but not Outer Blackrock Depths, that's lower level stuff, except they're otherwise stated in this design document. The Dark Moon Fair's amulets and trinkets. The all loot that is from Abyssal Dukes into Lithus. All gear that is a character level 50 plus reputation reward from the following factions. You know, and I'm level equals 55 plus reputation reward from the following factions. To be more accurate about what I'm trying to intend here. Anyway, the Argent Dawn, the Thorian Brotherhood, the Timbermaw Hold, excluding equipable friendly rewards, which will be item level 60 and require level 55 to wear. The Cenarion Circle, including items from badges. The Chandra Lar, when I get around to giving them rewards. All Battleground factions. All equipable quest rewards from the following quests. All Inner Blackrock Depths quests, but not Outer Blackrock Depths quests. Inner Blackrock Depths is behind the Shadowforge locks. Outer Blackrock Depths is before them. All Blackrock Spire quests, all Skullman's quests, all Strathholm quests, all Darmal quests except the Epic Book quest chain. In Dreams, Hidden Treasures, the Scarlet Oracle, Demetria, Ramscene, Suppression. Also, all crafted blue items that acquire character level over 54 to wear and do not require raid master craft, as well as the entirety of blue sets of items that include at least one item of character level over 54, and also the green dragon skill set. All equipment that has Mooncloth in its name. All crafted epic items that do not require any materials that come exclusively from raids harder than Upper Blackrock Spire to craft. These items will also generally be re-itemized at every realistic spec of every class, so not shit like 17, 17, 17 specs, can have at least 2 item level 63 non-set choices of their highest available armor class for every equipment slot, blue or epic, not considering elemental evasion bosses, so those will also be item level 63 blues. Wait. I think I contradict something else I read somewhere. Oh, I didn't. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna make this change here right now. The items from the elemental blue items from the elemental invasion bosses that aren't recipes will be level 60, character level equals 65 blues. Because for the same reason that the Scourge invasion loot got nerfed. You know, I'm level 65, character level 60 greens. Nerfed the loot from the elemental invasion bosses to all be I level equals 65, C level equals 60 greens. You see, if I don't do this, then there's the potential that the loot from the elemental invasion bosses will be best in slot. Oh, wait, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Never mind. I forgot it's not actually a problem. Pre-raid best in slot is a more limited thing than best in slot forever. I forgot. Also, there's no stats like fucking attack power versus undead on it, like for the Scourge Invasion bosses. That's right. Okay, now I can say I'm level 63. Which will also be I'm level 63. C level equals 58 blues. Okay. So the Dungeon 1 sets will all be item level 63 blue items to be itemized for general purpose use with somewhat powerful set bonuses, but somewhat low stats. They will not necessarily be good for raiding. Do note that I removed the entire Dungeon 2 set from the game. Now that the Dungeon 1 set, all this drops from the Dungeon 2 quests, which is now the Dungeon 1 quests. And those quests do not require specific pieces of gear from specific bosses and specific endgame raids, dungeons. As I mentioned in the previous video. Anyway, the Skull main sets will be itemized as general purpose sets of powerful set bonuses, but no non-set stats. Base armor aside. They will not necessarily be good for raiding. All items in the game that have an item level above 65 will have their item level be reduced to 65, as I mentioned in the previous video. Wait. In both cases, I said the previous video, I meant the one before the previous video. Anyway. With the sole exception to the rank 15 weapons, which will be item level 71 epics that act as pseudo legendary items, and have their itemization budgets as item level 65 legendary items. All equipable blue items that drop exclusively from the ZG, the Ruins of AQ, and world bosses will be turned into epic items, with those from world bosses being item level 63, character level 58, and BOE, and the rest being item level 65, character level 60, and BOP. All blue and crafted items. Hold on. I'm going to make this more concise here. I really shouldn't be calling it D20. Fuck, I'm going to call it A220 anyway. Even though I turned into a 40-man. Anyway, all blue and epic crafted items that require materials that drop exclusively from 40-man raids, such as Soldierite, because it turns Golgoroth into a 40-man, will be turned into item level 63, character level 58 epic items, barring Sulfur Rod Hammer, which will be character level 60, and item level 65. All loot from 40-man raids will be re-itemized so that every realistic spec of every class will have at least 2 item level 65 epic non-set choices as their highest available armor class for every equipment slot. Armor class means plate, mail, leather, cloth. Whichever one it does it is. As an exception to the above, the quest rewards for the perfect points will be item level 65 blues. If there are item level 65 or even 63 epics, then it would be too rewarding, and its rewards would be sort of be welfare epics. That I don't want. I hate welfare epics. Epic items are gonna actually be fucking epic in this game. Anyway, the general purpose of most tier sets will be changed, though I haven't really decided on the specifics yet. All itemization in the entire game will follow these general guidelines, not concerning which class or spec an item is intended for. The labels will, of course, not be shown in game. An offensive item is an item that spends between 61% to 2/3 of its itemization budget on offense. A defensive item is an item that spends between 61% to 2/3 of its itemization budgets on defense. A hyper-offensive item is an item that spends between over 2/3 and 80% of its itemization budget on offense, or up to 100% of its suffix item. A hyper-defensive item is an item that spends between over 2/3 and 80% of its itemization budget on defense, or up to 100% for suffix items. A general-purpose item is an item that does not spend more than 60.9 or 80% of its itemization budget on offense, nor on defense. An other or special item is an item that has unique and / interesting properties. Examples of these include Wolfside Helm, which I'm probably going to nerf, Dragon Scale Breastplate, Spider Belt, Ornate Metal Greaves, Hand of Justice, Green Whelp Armor, and Black Grass Fetty Destroyer. You know, actually, I could just, for Wolfside Helm, instead of just getting rid of its passive, I could just replace it with an interesting and non-use effect. Anyway, and Black Grass Video Destroyer. These items may or may not be prevented from being hyper-offensive or hyper-defensive due to items being changed. Only the following types of items are allowed to be hyper-offensive. Weapons, which in this case do not include offhand frills. Shields. Relics, that is, Isles, Leeward's Totems. Items with random suffixes. Some other or special items. By the way, wands and bows, crossbows, etc. are counted as weapons. Individual pieces of expensive items. So long as the set bonus takes up enough of its itemization budget that the individual item is not better for offense than any non-set items the same item level and item quality, and he says the whole set bonus is included is not hyper-offensive. Items of a low enough item level that they can only be either hyper-offensive or hyper-defensive due to a lack of itemization budget. For example, really low-level male belts that can only afford to have one fucking stat on, that can only afford to give 1 point to one stat because it only has so many itemization points on it, like 1. Anyway, only the following items are allowed to be hyper-defensive. Shields. Trinkets. Items with random suffixes. Relics. Some other or special items. Individual pieces of the set of items fall because the set plus because enough of the itemization but the individual item is not better for defense than any non-set item of the same item quality, and a set of the whole set plus is included is not hyper defensive. Items of a low enough item level that they can only be either hyper offensive or hyper defensive due to a lack of itemization budgets. Moving on. Items of Fiery, Frozen, Nature's, Shadows, Arcane, and Holy Wrath will be modified in such a manner that half of their itemization budget will be spent on ints, which I forgot to mention in a previous video, while the other half is spent to grant a bonus to the relevant type of bonus spell damage. For example, a Master's Cloak of Frozen Wrath will grant, instead of plus 21 frost spell damage, 10 ints and 14 frost spell damage. Items of healing will be modified in such a manner that half their itemization budget will be spent on stamina, while the other half is spent to grant a bonus to plus healing. Is spent on plus healing. For example, Adventurous Gloves of Healing will grant, instead of plus 44 healing, plus 13 stamina and plus 31 healing. This and the other FX raft changes are to prevent me from having to make a lot of blue items to drop from dungeons have to be hyper offensive so that they are better than green items of X raft or of healing, and so I do not have to make a lot of epic items to be hyper offensive so that they're better than blue items to drop from 10/+man raids, which instead are only so powerful because they have to be better than green items. Moving on. No non-legendary item, period, will have bonus block value on it anymore. It was a very overpowered stat. In case you don't know how numbers games such as World of Warcraft work, and so think that it was not overpowered, then consider this. Say, in patch 1.12.2, a Tauren Deep Prot Warrior is wearing Nax gear. Because of this, he has exactly 300 block value, maybe 65% damage reduction from armor, and about 90% standing avoidance, all without buffs. No, that is not hyperbole, it's actually extremely realistic. Now, say that another Tauren Warrior is wielding a Might of Menethil and deals, I don't know, an average of 1250 damage per white hit according to his character sheet. Now, say the two warriors duel. The first thing to do is both charge each other. After they both charge each other, it's that the Prot Warrior uses Steamo Shot to lower the other guy's attack power 146. So that aforementioned 1250 average damage goes down to 1210.4 before armor. When the two-man warrior then hits the Prot Warrior, that 1210.4 will be lowered by defensive stance to 1089.3, and then by armor to 381.3. Then the Prot Warrior's block value, when he blocks, lowers at 381.3, which is about 30.5% of the two-hand warrior's raw damage before debuffs already, to 81.3, which is 6.5% of the two-hand warrior's raw damage before debuffs. So blocking is going to reduce the two-hand warrior's white damage by a fuck ton. So yeah, bonus block value is overpowered, and it won't exist in WoW Classic Plus as a stat on non-legendary items. And the one legendary item that has it only has 5 of it. Also, do note that when I say standing avoidance, if I recall correctly, I'm also including crit reduction. That is, the portion of plus defense that lowers your enemy's critical strike chance against you. Yeah. Furthermore, blocking was changed so that yellow attacks were changed so that they act like white attacks on the attack table. So, like, if a yellow attack hits a guy and he blocks it, and a yellow attack could otherwise crit, well, actually, no, that's not how it works, fuck. Basically, yellow attacks can't crit if they get blocked. Anyway, no non-legendary item period will have feral attack power on it anymore, since, with all items being squished down to item level 65, its existence is no longer necessitated. Why I'm assuming that feral attack power was added to the stat in the first place is because, like, warriors and rogues and enhanced champions and paladins got better and better as their weapons item level got higher, and therefore the weapon's base damage got higher, but druids just did not get more base damage on their weapons. Actually, it's the base damage that matters here. Yeah, druids do not really care about their base damage on their weapons going up, but warriors and rogues and enhanced champions and paladins do. So, as a remedy to that, feral attack power was introduced into the game. However, it's not really necessary since item level 65 is the limit, barring legendaries, which are basically item level 71. Anyway. And then the one legendary that feral druids do get is going to have 87 feral attack power on it, so there. All bonuses to all weapon skills will be removed from all non-set items in the game. This means that the only sources of weapon skill from equipment left are going to be the staff skill bonus from this Armor of the Fang set from the Wailing Caverns, and the, if I recall correctly, bonus to sword skill from the Defias set. Or was it daggers? Whichever one it was. They were both pretty low. One-handed weapons that are not offhands are not allowed to have plus defense on them unless it's a proc or on-use effect. Less prot warriors and prot paladins feel pigeonholed into using one-handed plus defense on it to tank. Bonus armor, if present on Clawford letter, must be the lowest stat on the item. And said item is not allowed to have an even stat split, lest bear druids raid in offensive gear instead of the defensive gear that they will be intended to raid in before getting Decadent 40-man raid gear, and lets bonus armor be too powerful for Clawfies. No non-endgame items itemization may have more than half of its itemization budget be composed entirely of stats that cost less itemization points at lower levels. Less people use it in the endgame over endgame items outside some special exceptions. So for example, items are not allowed to have pure spell crit if nothing else. They're not allowed to have pure spell hit if nothing else. They're not allowed to have pure regular hit if nothing else. They're not allowed to have pure, defense skill with nothing else. These are all stats whose cost scale with your character level. Anyway, moving on. Where the hell was I? Endgame caster/healing weapons will not have less base weapon damage than the non-caster/healing weapon of that item level and item quality. Normal endgame caster/healing weapons have especially high amounts of spell damage/healing compared to endgame blue weapons. Caster weapons are not allowed to, in some caster weapons and healing weapons, are not allowed to sacrifice base weapon damage for extra itemization points. All hybrid shaman gear will have at least one of the following stats on it, lest hunters unintentionally desire it, the intention being that of the designer, not the hunter. Strength, spell damage, and /or spell crit. Items are not allowed to spend more than half of their itemization budgets on the combined totals of stamina and bonus armor unless the item is an other/special item, is of a very low item level, is a random suffix item, or is named dual reinforced leggings. This will ensure that tanks, and especially off tanks, do not need on a shield. Don't need on a shield because they have tons of stamina and bonus armor from their gear to make up for it. Oh, don't not need a shield. Don't care about shields. Yeah, that's what I meant. What the hell was I thinking? I wrote that. I wrote that a long time ago. Anyway, items are not allowed to spend more than half of the defensive portion of their itemization budget on avoidance stats, including the portion of agility that grants dodge chance based on warrior scaling. So, for example, an item is allowed to have nothing but agility on it because less than half of agility grants dodge chance. That is, less than half of the itemization points that agility is composed of grants dodge chance, based on warrior scaling. However, if the item is an art/special item, is of a very low item level, or is a random suffix item, then this does not apply to it. This will ensure that avoidance stacking does not get out of hand like it did in vanilla, with warriors getting over 90% passive avoidance, including block chance, the 299 300 block value, unbuffed, in best in slot for every defensive gear. Items are not allowed to spend more than half of their itemization budgets on healing, unless the item is an other/special item or is of a very low item level. As such, no item may have plus healing as its only offensive stat. Healing counts as offensive, because by special exception. All legendary weapons and item level 63 epic weapons must be hyper offensive. Less people use item level 63 blue weapons for rating when they have an item level 63 epic weapon of the same item type, weapon speed, and purpose to use instead, or to use an item level 65 epic weapon over a legendary weapon of the same item type, weapon speed, and purpose for rating. Why item level 63 epic weapons? Because that's the best that you can possibly get if you never step foot into a 40-man raid. Stats that you did not see at low levels in vanilla, such as spell damage and crit chance, will not be more common at higher levels than at lower levels. These stats will be found at all levels, provided our itemization budgets can't afford the stats at all, which means, yeah. Well, actually, just remember that they use stat scale of levels, so yeah. You'll be seeing them at low levels just as much as high levels. Oh, actually, hold on. You'll be seeing them a bit more high levels than at low levels, but only a bit. This is because green items are only allowed to have 1 to 3 stats, plus I forgot how many for hybrids, while blue and epic items are allowed to have 1 to 4 stats, plus however many for hybrids, and the more types of stats the same item has on it, the more actual itemization points that it gets, because splitting between different stats kind of means that the item gets to have more stats for reasons that I'll go into in the next video. If I remember. No set bonus or special item property will reduce the cooldown of intercepts or allow charge to be used during combat in order to maintain a certain differentiation between Prot Warriors and Bear Druids to help with raid balance, making it easier to force 40-man raids to bring a bear tank. I'm gonna have to do something about Goblin Rocket Helmet. Replace Goblin Rocket Helmet with an entirely new item. Maybe a helmet that actually shoots rockets. That would be fun. No set bonus will be useless in PvP unless having that many pieces of the set also gives a set bonus. At the same tier, so to speak, of set bonuses that affects PvP, and no set bonus will be that is useless in PvP will cost itemization points. Some set bonuses are item. Wait, hold on. Let me actually. No set. Okay, I get it now. Okay, I just forgot what that meant. I have been working on this for like 5 years, and I wrote some of these changes a long time ago, and I've barely thought about them since then. Anyway, some set bonuses are item properties that interfere with other changes in this classic plus will be changed or removed. For example, Bloodfang Glove's disarm immunity will be removed because I want to remove all sorts of disarm immunity from players to make disarms mean something in PvP. Anytime Storm's AP set bonus will grant lesser lightning shield instead of lightning shield, unless I re-advance the set entirely. So that does not interact with the new enhanced champ talent called Lightning Infusion, which interacts with lightning shield. Equipable trinkets and an on more on that in the eventual video on shamans. Equipable non-trinkets of a non-use effect will be put on cooldown by both of your primary profession cooldowns for a time equal to the cooldown used. And using an equipable non-trinket of a non-use effect will put a random profession cooldown for a duration equal to the item's cooldown for a duration equal to the used item's cooldown when used. See section number 9 professions for more information. When I get around to making that video. I mean, I could just scroll down there now, but where the hell is it? Yeah, I could just go over this shit now, but oh, this ain't it, but it's somewhere over here. Anyway, where the hell was I? Yeah, but I don't feel like going over right now. Let's do that for a different video. The male 2-plate armor increase of shields will be stretched from eye levels 42, 44 to eye levels 40 to 45, whereas 39 equals male and 45 equals plate. That is, 39 equals regular male and 45 equals regular plate. Well, 39 equals male period, but 45 equals regular plate. This should make that progression feel a bit smoother and that much less noticeable. You ever notice how in vanilla, like, certain low-level plate items like Saltstone Girdle and Jouster's Girdle, actually, if I recall correctly, yes. Yeah, like Saltstone Girdle just have a really low amount of armor and enormous Ogre Belt, despite being plate, and they barely have more armor than male stuff at the same item level. Well, that's because... oh yeah, I think you get the picture. Anyway, I was just trying to point out the existence of that weird armor progression thing that the original developers did for some reason. Anyway, all item level or 25... no, not for some reason. They did it because of where you can get the plate items from. But then... if I want to properly go over that, I'd have to actually take time to write a script for it and not do it on the fly. I'm almost done this video, so fuck it. Next change. All item level over 25 pole arms, under 25 pole arms, so just Pearl, Crescent Spear, Impaling Harpoon, and Gargoyle's Bite, they will be raised to item level 25, and their stats will probably be changed anyway. Do note that you cannot learn pole arms until level 20, and the minimum item level of other items that require level 20 to wear, every single other item in the entire game that requires level 20 to wear, has a item level 25. That is, item levels in World of Warcraft, vanilla at least, are generally equal to required character level plus 5. Until you got to the end game, until you got to the 40-man raid stuff and the 20-man raid stuff, but that's in vanilla. Anyway, item level 1 through 9 shields will have their total amount of base armor be increased as follows. Item level 1 gray, 52 armor. Item level 2 gray, 63. Item level 4 gray, 76. Item level 6 gray, 109. Item level 7 gray, 120. Item level 3 white, 71. Item level 5 white, 106. Item level 8 white, 139. Item level 9 white, 151. These values that I picked were actually somewhat arbitrary, and here, let me show you some of these shields. Like, this is one of the shields that players can start with. Well, excuse me, that you can just see drops and stuff. It has, like, an item level of 2, and it has only 12 armor. But this is going to be increased to 63 armor. But then you go down to, I'm a level 10 shields that are white, and suddenly they have an actually fucking useful amount of armor. But before that, there's this really weird progression curve that just really makes really low level shields be nigh worthless. But then they only really start being useful when you get, like, I'm level 10 shields. And then, like, in the case of Duratar, you don't even get a decently powerful shield until fucking this one, unless you get really lucky. Or you actually use a vendor. And you're probably just gonna end up shelling out, like, what is it, 11 silver for a bandit buckler when you hit level 9. So you can actually have a worthwhile shield. But that's only if you actually level as proc. Anyway, yeah. And now the last one. The buy/sell/repair values of every item will be changed according to however else the items are changed, though you don't really know how buy and sell values formulaically work yet. I'll look into that later. Alright, that's all the changes I got so far for these sweeping itemization changes. The next video will be about the itemization methodology that actually goes over this document and more. That's all for now, and thanks for watching. All for this video, anyway.